Hello, we're
Hey
live.
guys.
Hello.
What's up, everyone?
You know, doing the whole holiday season thing. You are festive, and I love it.
Yeah, this was Marty's. One thing for 2020. Let's get the Christmas tree right away. So,
Nice.
Good idea.
And confession, this is my first actual real life Christmas tree. I've always bought the fake one because in like my family's so it's crazy. So like, first of all, we're Jewish, but in the tradition, it's like this Moroccan tradition, you can't have like living live plants in your home. It's bad luck.
Really?
So my compromise was, okay, like we'll do a Christmas tree, but it won't be like an actual like real Christmas tree.
Oh, you got a fake one. That's better.
Yeah, but this one's not fake. This one's real for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're breaking some rule.
Breaking every rule.
You will be struck down.
Anyway, this is a week for breaking some rules in that it follows an unexpected victory by Bodie Express, which we'll get into shortly.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew it.
Of course. Dan Torchman here, Penelope Miller, and Shannon Kelly. Shannon, what is going on? We haven't had you on the show since the start of all this crazy.
I know. We've come far, but also still struggling, I think, but we've come in some direction that's good. So it's at least we're coming back with some happier things to talk about since our last chat on 5 and 5.
For sure. Remind people who weren't watching that show who you are, what you do, and give us a little preview while you're on with us today.
Sure. So my name's Shannon Kelly. I work for the Safety Net Foundation. We have 2 charities at the Jockey Club, Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation and the Safety Net. Grayson is equine medical research that we fund, and the Safety Net helps specifically people in horse racing who are in need. So the last time I was on the show was right at the start of COVID, and we spoke about all the initiatives that we were assisting with to help all the people in horse racing, specifically the backstretch community, during a really crazy time where job security was unsure, access to food, PPE, things like that. So we quickly jumped into action at the start of that. So when we were last on, we talked about ways that you could support us and what exactly we were implementing at all different racetracks. We're still doing that. We are still deep into making sure that everyone is provided for. But that's kind of what we do all the time. We were just in high gear during COVID.
So we got the website here, tjcfoundation.org. And to complement what you just said, I was going to play just a little video that we have here that shows us a little bit more about what the Safety Net does.
Yeah.
Hopefully the audio is working.
Nobody wants to fall into a safety net. But when adversity or hardship presents itself, it beats the alternative. Since 1943, the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation has been serving those individuals and families in need across every facet of the thoroughbred industry. Help us continue to be the safety net and catch those most in need. Visit tjcfoundation.org to learn more.
Very nice.
Video produced by the ABR team. It's awesome and we love it. But I think it really definitely harps on what we do. You know, we're seeing now in the world that anybody can fall into a hard situation. It can happen to any of us. And specifically in the horse racing industry, you know, as you guys talk about all the time, we're at different racetracks all the time. People are moving, it's fast, not just the horses, the industry is fast. And it's sometimes difficult to figure out, you know, what your next step is. And sometimes anything could happen. Your horse could not win, your job could be unsure. And specifically in the age of COVID, you know, it's a very nomadic lifestyle and it's long hours and inclement weather. And we want to make sure that we support those people that take care of our horses, but also keep the industry moving. So we help people in all aspects of the industry. So front side, starting crew, racing office, jockeys, exercise riders, breeding farms, you name it, we help them. And we have to continue to raise a lot of funds so that we can help more people and spread our net really wide.
Absolutely. And the work that the Safety Net Foundation does is so essential right now, especially because racing has, continued to operate throughout these trying times, and it would not be able to do so without the people who we don't normally see on TV. The grooms, as you said, the exercise riders, people on breeding farms, grooms on breeding farms, people who are so essential to keeping our horses healthy. It's such a great time to give back. And can you talk a little bit about, why Giving Tuesday is so important, which is, of course, today?
Well, so I think what's most important about it is that it's a digital initiative. It's a social media initiative. And I think that's huge, especially in this COVID quarantine era where we're stuck home. What is the best way for us to get our message out there and continue to help, even though we're not in our usual face-to-face type of fundraising? So this Giving Tuesday, one of our biggest initiatives, of course, yes, to raise money, but we really want to everyone to share our social media platforms. We're trying to grow our following so that we can get the word out there, not just for people who want to support financially our initiatives, but people who might need our help. More and more, we're seeing that if we push the message out there, people will know about us. So obviously our social media handles, which is next to my name, TJC_SafetyNet. That's on Instagram and Twitter. And then, of course, we're the Jockey Club Safety Net on Facebook as well as YouTube. And you can go to our website. We have a direct link to donate. Now it's tjcfoundation.org/donate. You can just go to our website and there's a big donate button. And that goes right through PayPal, but you could also call us. We take checks, we take cash, we take anything. But we really have a lot of initiatives moving forward. The biggest thing before everything happened in 2020, the biggest thing that we wanted to do was to grow our presence. So while I'm physically on the East Coast in our New York office, we help nationwide, racetracks nationwide. So we really wanted to make sure everybody knew about us. So in the past year, and actually COVID assisted with this, we've been constantly in contact with all of our industry partners, which is something we wanted to talk about on this live also, is that we have so many charities in our industry, and it's an amazing thing. And what's even better is a lot of us work together. And if we continue to work together, our impact is going to be so much larger. So during COVID, we worked specifically with the Racetrack Chaplaincy of America and all their specific racetrack chaplains. So we were in constant contact with them to make sure that they got the help that they needed. But there are so many other charities that help the people in our sport. Obviously, you have the Thoroughbred Charities of America, you have the PDJF, you have all the individual chaplaincies, and then of course you have the ones that help our horses. You have all the aftercare organizations, the TAA, the TRF, Karma, all of these different organizations. And then, of course, you have Grayson, who's researching all of these ways to keep our horses healthy. So I think that there is so many ways that you can assist, and even the smallest donation or a share of our Facebook or Twitter or Instagrams can really help us with all of our individual initiatives and continue to work together to help as many people and horses that we can.
Yeah. And Shannon, I think that's such a good point, because obviously, the pandemic has affected a lot of people in a lot of ways. And if you can't give, that's totally okay. But it's really easy and super free to hit that share button, hit the retweet button, craft your own post. Getting the message out, as Shannon said, it can help raise money, and it can help raise awareness, because some people who are in need might not know that help is out there waiting for them.
Absolutely.
Shannon, you also mentioned the various charities, the various causes that there are. If you're watching this now on Facebook or YouTube, we've put a link in there in the comments section that gives you a link to a condensed list of charities. Penelope put it together last year. It's all still very relevant, and they're all charities that need your help even more now. So you can click that link on Facebook or YouTube if you're watching there. We've got a couple of comments coming in. Hey, Matt, how you doing? How's it going? And yeah, look, drop us a line here. Let us know if there are any causes that you feel super passionate about. You see the call to action on the bottom there. Let us know.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to necessarily be, sorry to jump in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a racing charity. It could be St. Jude's. It could be the Brook, which is one of my favorites. It helps equines, donkeys, horses, mules, the whole, anything with cute ears, that work in, as draft animals around the world, especially in third world countries. It's a really cool charity.
Yep. I'll just quickly put up a couple here that I've always been a fan of. We've kind of touched on aftercare a little bit, the TAA, the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. That's the website there if you want to support. And then we also promised Jamie, of course, that we would have Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation talking about taking care of the horse and doing research, scientific research that leads to, findings that ultimately help horses that are dealing with various ailments and injuries. That's the work that Grayson is doing. So if you feel passionately about that, you can text horse health to 243-725. Again, watch this back. We'll put some of the stuff in the comments. Look at the link that I put up earlier. You'll get, you'll have ways to get back to this information if we're going a little too fast now. Shannon, first of all, we you talked about, the backstretch workers and, also the chaplaincy. And that's something that's sort of near and dear to me, even though I didn't list it right there, because you talk about how much, just sort of themselves, the people on the backstretch give. They have families that there with them, oftentimes kids. And then I've just been watching TV nonstop the past week or so, hearing about how many people out there are just hungry. And the only thing standing between them and not eating are these food pantries. Just speak to that a little bit, because it really does. It's crushing. And now we're in a time where no matter who you are, you can actually see that over the course of what we experienced with COVID, how quickly you can get to that spot.
Absolutely. So I think that, like you said on TV, you're seeing constantly, on the news about, specifically in New York City, how so many kids rely on schools for their meals, and how quickly, specifically in the horse racing industry, but totally all over the country, that one missed paycheck when everything's shut down, how there's no access to food. So something that I think is probably something that was there already and was blown up with this worldwide pandemic. So in horse racing specifically, the racetrack chaplaincy really did an amazing job. They quickly put into action these food pantries that a lot of them had already, but were starting to get donations from some larger food organizations that you had lines of 200 people in places like New York at the racetrack waiting for food. And I volunteered at a lot of them at Belmont, and it really was amazing to see how important it was to these people for this bag of food that could feed their family. Like you said, many of them have children. They're working really long hours, but nobody could just take a pause in horse racing when everything happened. These horses have to be fed, they have to be cared for, and they worked straight through. So I think it really is a very, very crucial thing to support the charities within our industry, but worldwide, the ones that get food to the people that need it. And these food pantries are critical. So by supporting the safety net or by supporting the Racetrack Chaplaincy of America, you're going to make sure that the backstretch workers are getting access to the food that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people who might not be familiar with what the chaplaincy is, it does provide spiritual guidance for anybody who works on the backstretch of the racetrack, which is the parlance for the barn area. But it also does incredible things like English as a second language course,
Yes.
Courses, drug and alcohol counseling and intervention, trips to go get food, trips to go to get an entertainment when we're not in the plague. It does gatherings, it organizes soccer games, but it really just provides a sense of home for people who, as Shannon mentioned before, live a very migratory lifestyle going from racetrack to racetrack. And that kind of consistency and that kind of access to essential services like counseling, like classes, like food is something that is so vital.
Absolutely. I think that, it's so much more than just a prayer and a meal. You know,
Yeah.
they're really there to give people some sense of a normal life. And these services that the chaplaincy provides, that local horseman organizations like NIFA and the backstretch service teams in New York and at other racetracks, childcare facilities, English as a second language. There's so much that we can do to make their lives better, but just simple things like Christmas parties, Easter baskets, backpacks for the kids to go back to school. All of these things are something that the chaplaincy puts on, these horseman organizations put on, and that the safety net feels very passionately about supporting. Because for us, while our assistance is on a large part individual assistance, so when a specific person needs help, a medical bill, rent, hard times, we also like to help in the masses. And the best way for us to do that is to partner with industry organizations and help large groups of people with just basic living and needs.
Absolutely. And I love that, because supporting individual people who might have suffered a fall, might have been kicked, gotten COVID, you know, for whatever reason can't work. You help those specific individuals, but you also help the community as a whole, which is just like, how great is that? I love it. And before we jump in, I do want to recognize, and Dan, I hope you help me out. Liz Callaway Gooch is talking about an animal rescue that she works with. Mandy's mission, she's been working with it for 11 years, fostering and transporting shelter animals to safe rescues, which do it. Both my baby boys are my cats, I should say, like, you know, cats. Didn't pick up any like human children at a rescue. But yeah, I get, you know, they're both shelter animals. And then Matt's here saying he's a regular supporter of the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation.
Awesome.
And he also gave to Belmont Park's backstretch groups this year. So Matt, thank you so much. Those are two worthy charities.
Great.
All right. Well, we've covered a whole lot there. If you have questions about any of this, drop them in the comments section. If you want to let us know who you were supporting on this Giving Tuesday, please share that with us as well. Encourage other people to do so. Let's talk a little bit of horse racing. Of course, as I mentioned, Bodie Express winning on Friday night, winning the Clark was like, I think, my best moment of 2020. Like, I can't think of anything better that happened. Can you guys think of anything better?
No, but I do want to apologize. Obviously, I wasn't able to make you a birthday cake this year because we're not in the office. But last year, I always made Dan a mean birthday cake. It's kind of a tradition. Last year, the birthday cake.
And mean in like not like the 80s sense, like, oh, that's a mean cake right there. Like an actual like mean spirited
like
cake.
A cruel and unusual cake.
Yeah. Yes.
Last year, I made him a cake that looked like a parimutuel ticket, and it was his bet on Bodie Express in the Preakness.
Yeah, you undershot it slightly. You put $100 in there, and I was like, man, I wish it was $100 in retrospect, because it was an amount of money that was just silly. And especially
would have been silly, dude.
Yeah, it would have been. But yeah, so, and as I said on Twitter the other day, I made some money this time, but not nearly as much as I've lost over time with Bodie. But it was still just cool to see. It was like, you know, it's like this horse who's just like this, like, you know, this like petulant, terrible child who's just like this bad kid. And then like finally, like he did good. Like he came through, like, you know, he made everyone proud. I mean, I thought it was awesome. You know, and there was a great like explosion of just like comments on Twitter from everybody. And just so people know, like, by the way, I don't own the horse. Like, people think that like I am, you know, like directly involved with the horse. I'm just a super fan. So I don't know. Shannon, have you gotten into the
bad boys? You really do.
You do love a bad boy, don't you?
Some stone cold weirdos, and I respect it.
And I think you have really shown that you are loyal and dedicated to the ones you support. So I am very happy for you that you got some return on your very long investment on this horse.
Yeah.
Do you think it's loyalty or like the stubbornness of being like, if I keep repeating the same action over and over again, this time it's going to be different, which is not the very definition of insanity.
Escalation of commitment. It is like it's like the worst character trait you could have as a horse person, horse better. Throwing some shade my way was my dad, who said, "Wow," he's like, "now if we can only get Vince Ramos to win a race." That was a deep cut. That was throwing shade on my like 2013 Derby pick, who finished.
I was actually going to bring it up and then figured it was too fresh a wound, but
yeah.
Tip of the hat to your dad for going where I feared to tread.
It was rough.
Wait, feature Stephanie's comment, please.
What's that?
Feature Stephanie's comment.
This one?
The one at the bottom.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, for sure. I will say I've not been nearly as stubborn with Tacitus, although I have played him plenty.
Pick?
Who?
Who was your Breeders' Cup Classic pick?
Well, it was Tacitus. He ran an awesome fourth.
Blackjacks just no.
Oh, man. So...
this Giving Tuesday, what I'm grateful for following Thanksgiving is the fact that the entire commentary is dunking on Dan.
That's fair. I deserve it.
Some lightheartedness.
Especially when I get one to break my way. I shouldn't, be led to think that this is the way things are going to go now. I should remain aware of the fact that it's going to be mostly heartbreak. So anyway.
But you hit those long shots. It's awfully fun.
It is fun. I will say, I think he went into the gate at about 17 or 16 to 1. And by the time he crossed the line, he was 11 to 1. I will say, if there was anything that kind of just hurt me a little bit, it was that. But him winning, I wasn't even looking at the odds. I didn't even look at the trifecta. I hit the trifecta. I wasn't even paying attention who finished third. I wasn't even looking at it. I was like, oh my God. And my wife caught me. She's like, you've been sitting there smiling for the past hour. And I was like, wow. I was
I didn't initial reaction to you being happy for an hour is is there something terribly wrong with you?
Exactly. What's going on? Why are you smiling? There was some other really good racing this weekend. Del Mar finished up its meet. A bunch of really good turf races. I mean, basically, Irad Ortiz went out there and won 60 races out of 25.
Put on a clinic.
Oh, it was sick. Rosario was also money. Our friends at Little Red Feather Racing pulled an upset on Sunday, which I had no money on, but was fun to watch anyway. Won with a 19 to 1 shot. Did you guys watch any racing this past weekend, or were you just totally just eating turkey leftovers and chilling?
I mean, it's called multitasking, Dan.
Right.
No, yeah. I have a new Derby hopeful for 2021 because it's never too early to catch the fever. There was a maiden winner at Churchill over the weekend called Beep Beep.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Who I'm now in love with because
Norm Cassie, I believe, right?
Norm trains. Well done. Dan did watch his horse racing.
It's all in here.
It's a Rolodex.
How about you, Shannon? Any?
I had Del Mar on because off that Little Red Feather hit. This weekend, Grayson did a charity challenge that was the Echo-Base team with Ellis and Little Red Feather, and that was one of the hits that really brought us really high. I mean, it was close to $5,000 that we won for Grayson through that challenge, and we really appreciate things like that are fun ways to engage the horse player in our industry, but also people that want to support initiatives in the industry. So that was really fun. So I was keeping an eye on Del Mar to see as the ticker went up and following it on Twitter of all the money that we were making. So yes,
awesome. Love that.
Yeah, you're watching with better intentions than I was. So
yeah, you know I'm not playing any of those.
You play on occasion.
I'm not allowed to play in any pools of any of my friends because we always lose the second my money gets in that pool. So
we're just the cooler of your friend group.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do the same thing because anytime I buy into Dan's pick 5 bets, we lose on the first leg.
Oh, yep. So I just don't. I am going to
I keep going in. You're a better person.
Give money to good initiatives because I'm just not worth handicapping.
You've told me there have been times when you've been at the track and you've been just one after the other, just picking winners and basically trying to tell your friends to bet them, you're feeling them, you've hit 3 or 4 in a row, and of course you had no money on them. Yes,
that is the only time I win. I once had a friend, I gave him VE Day.
Oh yeah.
And was that the Travers?
The Whitney.
The Whitney.
Oh,
and they won and the only reason I picked it was because I saw the trainer at dinner the night before and I was he walked past me and I was like, yeah, pick that horse. My friend won thousands of dollars and I was like, I didn't even bet it. I didn't even bet it. Not even $1. So it's just not. I'm better off circling horses of people that I like trainers I know, jockeys who are nice, and then they just. So I'm better off that way.
That's the thing, because after a while, that was Jimmy Jerkins, right?
Yes.
Yeah. After a while, if you start rooting for a certain trainer or a jockey, and then if you don't use them on your tickets, and look, this is terrible. If you consider yourself a serious handicapper, disregard everything I'm saying, but yes, if you're playing casually from home and you don't bet your favorites and they beat you, if I didn't bet Bodie Express on Friday, I would have been awake from then until now. I wouldn't have slept at all. I would literally just be just on the floor crying still, because the one time that it happened.
That would have made an amazing Giving Tuesday 5 and 5. Tanner and I talking about charity and Dan just weeping on the ground the entire time.
And he didn't bet. So yeah, no, I think that it's better that I just don't gamble and tell people horses that I like and let them win money. And then maybe they'll take that money and give it to the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation and let me do good things with it. So
there you go. Bruce brings up a good point here. Sometimes it's a long time between drinks sometimes. So savor the moments whenever you win. Yes.
Liz is Shannon. Liz is with us. She says I groomed for many years ago. I bet sentimentally. I do too. My heart will get in front of my head constantly.
Always. I couldn't read a form if you paid me. I couldn't figure it out. So I just circle once I like.
Handicap. There's no thought is, as long as you're playing responsibly, there's no wrong way to bet. If you want to bet numbers, great. If you want to bet because you love a horse, even Dan can win that way. There's no wrong way. Just bet the amount. Don't bet more than you can afford. That's what I have to say.
Right. I was told that once by somebody when I asked them that I had a bill I wanted to pay and how much did I have to give them to win that amount of money. And they were like, no. That's not a good way to get into this. And I was like, okay, here's $5. And that's really all I could do. But I think there are so many ways that you can get involved in the industry, and it could be fun, or it could be serious, or it could be very, very obsessively loyal like Dan. But there's just so many ways that you can be a part of it, whatever floats your boat, so they say.
Here's a good one. Betting sires I have met and loved. So literally betting all the children of horses that you love, but that could get a little costly too when some of them have 200 a year. Right. That's a lot of action to keep up.
Down to 140, Dan. It's going to be affordable.
Right. Yeah. Now it's 140. My bad.
$1 a horse.
$1 a horse. Exactly. So what else? Fan Choice Awards voting ended yesterday. It was a really, really good turnout. A lot of people voted online. We thank you for getting involved in the Fan Choice Awards. Penelope, I know you're in the process of identifying the winners of our gift cards, $1,000 gift cards going out.
I just had my first call back. You know what's terrible? So yesterday I saw online that a scam is going around in which people are emailing saying you have won an Amazon gift card, call this number, and they steal your information. And I was like, oh, come on.
And that's literally the email you're sending right now.
Literally the email being I think the subject line was congratulations, you've won.
You might have to send a selfie of yourself I am real.
Well,
here is the card.
3 people who haven't gotten back to me with an adjusted headline that's I swear to you this isn't a scam, but
which makes it sound even more sketchy. Exactly.
I know.
I want to cruise to the Bahamas.
I always get is the spam calls that are hey, your car insurance is void.
I don't have a car.
I haven't owned a car since the last in a decade.
Yeah.
Good A+ effort, but 0% on accuracy.
Your water heater needs replacing. I was I don't replace the water heater.
I am a renter.
I'm not a homeowner. I wouldn't know.
They should definitely remove us New York people from that.
That doesn't work for us.
Well, I don't have a New York. Does anyone want to see a dog? Give me your doggy.
Oh.
Your video's a little choppy, but I'm going to full screen you. There you go. Who are we looking at here?
Guava.
Which, if you've ever been to South Florida, is the most important food.
Oh, I love guava.
A pastelito with guava and cheese is like the first thing I do when I go down for Pegasus. I'm like, oh, I need that flaky pastry filled with fruit jelly.
Oh, I wasn't familiar with this.
Oh my
What?
God, it is
Never had one.
the best.
It's the best.
Wow.
It is the best thing. That's how she got her name, actually, exactly from that. That's my mom's like favorite food.
Oh yeah, that is like on my list of like that's what I want for breakfast on like my final day on Earth.
Jesus. Good
They're
God.
really
That took a
good.
dark
I'll
turn
buy
there.
you a whole box for Pegasus.
Yeah, they're so good.
I'm still trying to keep this diet thing going on. I don't know how that's going to work.
Not fit in a diet. I'm gonna be honest.
They don't. They're like buttery, flaky pastries.
Yeah, it's like a croissant filled with cream cheese and like
Jelly.
sugar jelly.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Oh,
It
it's
is really
great.
We sort of buried the lead here. Penelope,
Here's another one.
you can answer this question too if you want.
This is Tiptoe.
Hold on. Wait, more. Wait, now I got to remove it. There you go.
Oh, Tiptoe. Look at the tongue.
Okay. Sorry. I get so excited about dogs because I have my cats and I love them, but I also love dogs. I mean, if we had gerbils, I'd be into it. 5th.
The 5th. Is that Saturday?
That is Saturday, the 5th. Saturday, the 5th of December. Doesn't work as well as November. Yes, we will be announcing as well as the Secretariat Vox Populi Award winners. Secretariat.com will be releasing that information. So it's very exciting. There were some upsets. Dan, would you say?
Yeah, so we've now revealed the fact that we know the winners at this point. We're like the only people who know the winners. Shannon doesn't know the winners.
No, I
I
don't.
don't know.
Yeah, I walk away
I don't know all the
feeling.
winners. Like I don't know who won Vox Populi.
Yeah, that's the one we don't know. We're still waiting on votes to come in from Secretariat.com. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fair. There was no winner where I thought like, wow, what were people thinking here?
No.
We got a lot of like votes. I mean, I saw the vote count. The vote count was extremely high. So it's there was a pretty good sample there. There were a couple of categories that were pretty tight. The favorite racing analyst was pretty tight.
Always is.
Yeah, there was a lot of people have strong opinions about the racing analyst.
Favorite off the track thoroughbred in a service position was like a squeaker too.
Yeah. There's some really, really close calls. There were a couple of blowouts. I don't want to give away the category because then
I don't want to category because I don't want to I don't want anyone to have hurt feelings.
Yeah.
But of course, what we could do is say all the categories that had squeakers and then let people extrapolate information from that and be innocent.
That's difficult.
I will say, I think the closest category was the favorite betting platform, website.
Right.
It was really, I had my thoughts too. I thought a certain betting platform would win by a lot. They did really good, but it was tight. I think like there were 3 platforms that were separated by a couple hundred votes.
Yeah.
Well, I think there are so many new people because of COVID betting on the sport.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways that you can find out like different platforms. And I think ABR even put out something of all the different platforms that you can use and
how to sign up and all that.
Even in my household, everyone uses a different one. I mean, I don't use it very well, so I'm not even going to say who I use because it's bad press for them because I am just, well, actually it's good press for them because they're just getting my money and not having to give me anything back. But I think that there's just so many you could use. They're all just, there's so many different ways that, people can bet on the sport. So really, really cool.
All right, we've got a few minutes left here. Shannon, we're going to give you the last word again. Remind people how they can go ahead and support the safety net on this given Tuesday.
So you can go to our website, which is tjcfoundation.org. There's a big donate button, or you could just put /donate in the URL. But please, even if you can't donate at this time, if you could go follow us on social media, we're at TJC_SafetyNet. And it's a great way for you to support us by just sharing what we do, sharing our videos, sharing our photos. And it's a great way to find out the type of things that we're doing to help the racing community, specifically the ones that are in need. And right now, more than ever, we really, really could use your support, and even $1 helps us. So if you could go out today on Giving Tuesday and give us a donation, that would be really, really wonderful. TJCfoundation.org.
Right. And if you're watching and you need help, follow those same social media handles and you can get in touch that way. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. And our email is contact@tjcfoundation.org. Send us a note if you know of somebody that's in need. And also want to give a quick shout out to Old Smoke for designing these great T-shirts that we gave to the backstretch community in California. And we're going to continue to produce them, send them out. It's like a walking billboard for us. And they've been a great partner with us. And they created that great social distancing T-shirt that benefited our foundation. And there are just so many ways that you can support us. Whether it's through all of these smaller businesses, by going to a racetrack and giving them your support, or gambling right now, all those industry companies are helping our industry initiatives. So, just by participating in the sport, you're helping us. So we really, really appreciate it.
Hey, Shannon, are those social distancing shirts still available?
They are on Old Smoke's website, so definitely go out and get one.
I'm gonna get a couple because I think my sisters need some. We might I bought the dogs to stay safe and
Great
dog
stocking stuffers.
Love it. All right. Shannon Kelly with the Jockey Club Safety Net.
Thank you, guys.
For Penelope, I'm Dan. We will see you next time.